and it's going to be on at the Actors Centre second week of October. I believe it's from the 10th to the 16th.
So you've actually got a date now then?
Yeah, we've got a date. It's going to be limited seating. Originally it was going to be 50 seats, but that's gone down to 17. But you know, it's the first time I'm doing it, and that's okay for me, because it'll just be a place to just sort of play and explore and hopefully just keep developing and take on.
That's going to be really special. That's going to be really special.
I hope so. I hope you can make it.
Yeah, I'd love to be one of the 17.
Yes, for sure.
The tickets will go crazy, won't they? They'll be gone.
It'll be great. Sold out. Oh, it'll be wonderful.
8 shows a day, yeah.
It'll be great.
We can't wait till October now. It will be
Yeah, I know.
to go out and see plays.
Oh,
That's
please.
it. I know. It'll be wonderful.
I'm really pleased for you. Good girl. Can't wait. Sounds really, really interesting.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's some funny bits, some, you know, more honest and darker bits, but it's all a personal story. So
Have you done a one-woman show before?
I have, yeah, I have. I did it at my at drama school. So yes, it'd be good to dust off the cobwebs and get back in there.
Oh God, love you.
It's the hardest one, I reckon.
Yeah.
Next to being a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. See.
Hardcore girl.
That's it. It's the only way.
Yeah.
It's the
Fantastic.
only way. And how's the response to your film been?
Well, it's still in festivals, so it's had limited kind of screenings, but good.
Wonderful.
Good. So it's just now a case of trying to find the right place to place it so that people can see it, which will be online and on some form of platform. But we've still got some festival entries, but I'm not sure what's happening with all of the festivals.
Sharon watched it.
Yeah, Mum came to the screening, but I couldn't make it.
Yeah. Where is she today?
She's out on the. Yeah, she's in the middle of trying to sort out. She's halfway through a job. She's doing film.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Are they Are they paused on filming or what?
Yeah, absolutely, they're paused. Yeah, hiatus they call it, don't they? She's hiatusing. And at the moment, they're trying to figure out how they're going to work the department when they go back to work, which is probably in July, the end of July.
That's what they're thinking.
Into July, so they're trying to find a way to work it and to socially distance and make up people.
Like PPE,
make up teams and isolate together, or does she come home? And if one of them gets ill, what do they do? So that's what she's doing at the moment, just outside.
Amazing. Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day, and they were talking about maybe you'd isolate together, or you'd isolate for 2 weeks, you know, a little jolly in Bournemouth or wherever.
Talking about that on EastEnders, aren't they? It's putting all the actors in a hotel together.
Oh dear. They'll be sorry. There'll be a shortage of something for sure.
Yeah, she's going. Say bye.
Yeah.
Bye, darling. Thank you so much for coming to say hello.
Take care.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Thanks,
Can you imagine being stuck with people you don't particularly like? 24 hours a day, it's bad enough at work. There's very few casts, I must say, that I've ever felt that about, you know, but there are a couple of people I would not fancy being in a hotel with 24 hours a day and at work.
Messy. Very messy.
Oh man, you imagine it. And I mean, they'd have to pay. I mean, I was talking to my friend John Hales yesterday, who's a theatre director up in Lowestoft at the Seagull Theatre. And our friend Reese he's in the middle of some Netflix series. And they're going to fly him out to Tunisia or Hungary, I think, where they're doing it. But once he gets out there, he won't be able to get back. So they're hiring him for 3 months after the show finishes, just to make sure that he can be okay and then get back.
So this is going to be expensive, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, what's going to happen to little independent films like ours? how are people going to do that? I mean, one way of doing it, of course, is to decrease the cast and just have 2 or 3 people in a scene. But how do you play a scene with somebody there? You can't anymore, you know. So it's about perspective, and it's about a lot of close-ups. And at the moment, I mean, I'm sure they'll find a way to work around the actual mechanics of the filming of the thing, because I think Emmerdale have gone back now. I think they're about to very soon. So they've brought in certain measures. Of course, they have to, you know. So we just have to see the sort of mechanics of filming and how people are going to get around that. Let alone theatre, as my daughter says, with 17 people watching this show, socially distanced. Because the whole thing about theatre as performance, of course, is you feed off what your audience is giving you. You know, and just if you want to talk about stepping into that sacred space, and the audience, you know, probably one of the most important aspects of theatre is even if they're quiet, you feed off them. You know, there's an element there.
And
So
what about,
I don't know.
will they be able to afford to have such few audience?
I don't know. Well, what are the seats going to cost? I mean, and what are the length of the shows, and how many shows a day? And it's all to be found out. You know, I mean, I know there's some very fine productions of or filmings of live shows online, but the ones I've seen, it's not the same, is it? Of course, it's not the same, because it's the recording of a live show.
What made you want to come and play Slaughterman in Mercy?
It was a great part. I mean, he's a lunatic. Oh God, someone's at the door now. Jamila, okay. Oh God.
Don't you know who I am?
Getting the toilet, flushing, running down the stairs, acting going on. Oh, she's at the front door.
It's for Mark.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
That's life. That's life in lockdown.
No? Yeah.
Um,
Yes. So you like the part?
I like the part because he's a lunatic. Although what we've done with it is he has a turn at the end, you know, which is very interesting. And well, he's just brutal. Somebody's been brutalised by the whole system. I work in an abattoir. I'm an abattoir worker.
One is an abattoir worker.
Slaughterhouse to you. Got it. You got a problem with that? Because I want to be straight with you right from the off.
Because I get a bit of stick from people nowadays. What with the internet and this and that.
It's a family business. I grew up in it. It ain't pretty. It ain't pretty at all. Well, would you expect it to be sweet and nice as pie? And that.
Because I thought of you, because you're brilliant.
Darling, tell them about that.
but B, because you were a lovely carnivorous chap, and I
can't because he ate meat. Yes.
Well, because I thought to play a slaughterman, it would be kind of good to have someone who understood liking meat. Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe, although you don't have to, obviously, to play a slaughterman. But anyway, and then what did you go and do?
Well, I gave up meat. It's your fault, you swine.
Go on, explain.
Made me give up meat.
Explain.
I mean, my journey into kind of veganism, because we went the whole hog, although I struggled with it.
Go on.
Yeah, it was basically becoming aware of what the meat industry is, and some of that footage you sent me was shocking. And I know now, 3-4 years later, it's readily available online.
Was that the abattoir footage?
That was the abattoir stuff, and also in the little pig farm where the pigs getting their teeth pulled out and their tails cut off, and the heads being dashed on concrete. And you go, oh my God, I mean, if we're going to eat meat, why do we have to treat animals like this? Let alone what that particular farm was doing with their animals, you know. So that was shocking. And my giving up meat wasn't a quick process. I didn't just make up my mind overnight. We filmed that. When did we film that? Around June time.
Yeah, June 2016.
Yeah. I gave up it was a series of kind of circumstances really for me. I gave up in the next January. But every time since I did that film, I would sit in a restaurant and order a piece of meat. I could not get these images out of my mind. Sharon was away. She was away in Korea making a film, funnily enough, Okja, which is about the meat industry.
Right, it was in Cannes when I went there.
Yeah, yeah. They eat a lot of meat in Korea. It's kind of, and she found it very hard to. She was pescatarian, if that is a thing. You know, she ate fish and vegetables and has done for nearly 30 years now. But she found she just couldn't stomach the fish anymore, so she went on a plant-based diet while she was over there. And then they came back at Christmas time. They joked with me. They said they were going to get a vegan chef in and make to do Christmas dinner. So I'm going to have a bit of turkey. No, you're not. I'm going to have my turkey. It's Christmas. I'm having my turkey. So responsibly, I went and got an organic turkey, responsibly farmed, blah, blah, blah. It was tiny. It was a tiny little turkey, and I felt really sorry for it as I'm kind of going, yeah, all right, it will taste great. And you know when you bash it up for half an hour before, well, you probably don't remember. You give it a blast, you nuke it for half an hour beforehand, then you I forgot to turn it down, so the thing shrank. The thing shrank, and there's this tough old bird which I sat down to at Christmas dinner, and I thought, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? This is not a pleasant experience. I'm only eating this because out of kind of ego, really, I suppose. And
why ego?
Well, I don't know. It's just like because of what I wanted from my Christmas meal, you know.
Right.
And the girls were eating their vegan food, and it's delicious. Of course it is. And so come January, come the new year, I gave up, and that was over 3.5 years ago now.
And is that meat and dairy, or?
Yeah, meat and dairy. Yeah. It's funny because I'd given up dairy a long time before.
Oh, had you?
Coincidentally, I also, my next job was a short film, and we filmed on a dairy farm in winter. It was January, and everything's covered in, because all the cows are in sheds, everything's covered in kind of 3 or 4 inches of slurry, so the whole place stinks and it's dirty and it's messy. And even in the farmhouse, you know, it's dragged into the farmhouse, so you basically eat shit. You're kind of ankle deep in shit the entire time. But there I was wandering around the count of pens, and there was this old cow there which was going bald. It was losing her hair because she was old. And I happened to say to one of the guys on the farm, "Oh, she's old." "Oh, yeah, I have to get rid of her soon." I said, "Pardon? I will have to shoot her." She said, "Because if she drops dead, it costs us 200 quid to have her removed. It's only 100 quid. It's only 100 quid if we do it." So I went, okay, and I walked around the farm a little bit more, and there were the cows that are just calved, and we know now that they're separated at the moment of birth, basically within a few minutes. But they were at the both different ends of the sheds, and the calves were crying, and the cows were crying, not only bellowing, but they had tears in their eyes because they could see each other, but they couldn't have any contact. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. I can't really drink milk. It's a horrible thing. Now, a few years ago, I went on a more alkaline diet, and with the nutritionist Stephen Ferguson, he said the worst things you can eat really are meat, and dairy is the second thing you should not be eating as a human being. He is the most qualified nutritionist in the world. He's got more letters after his name than anyone else.
Did he say why? Because
it's unhealthy. Nutritionally, it's unhealthy. I mean, we all know, well, most of us know that we shouldn't be drinking cow's milk. It should be left for the cows. Why humans drinking bovine lactate? You know,